What you are about to hear is an opinion piece written by me. My source material is in the description box below. Don't take my word for it, do your own research, and come to your own conclusions. Feminazi, the Amanda Barker experience. On November 8, 2016, the single most hideous thing to ever happen in the history of the United States of America occurred. Worse than Pearl Harbor, worse than 9/11, perhaps even worse than the Star Wars prequels. Donald J. Trump was elected president of the most powerful country in the free world. What a tragedy, what a nightmare. One could almost feel the dystopia building by the minute. Yet, at the sight of the outcome, I sat up in my couch where I had been sleeping and smiled, because I realized that if there was one thing worse than Donald Trump being president, it would have been Hillary Rodham Clinton as president. Of course, not everyone felt the same as I did, because not everyone is quite as smart as I am. And I thought it was hysterical to watch these fools on their knees crying and screaming like spoiled brats hearing no for the first time. It was all very amusing. However, none amused me more than the producer of the Humble and Fred show, one Amanda Barker, when she appeared on the program 3 days later with her sister Rebecca and Humble Howard's daughter, Spencer Glassman. It was thrilling to hear these feminists talk the usual garbage feminist talk when they don't get their own way, speaking about their newly elected president in a way that would have you believe that his key opponent was some kind of saint. This, of course, was not true, but these were feminists, and I dare say radical ones at that, and aren't, in my opinion, the brightest bulbs in the drawer. The conversation came to a conclusion with a heartfelt statement by Amanda near the closing of the show, and went like this. I look at Spencer, I look at her, and I will tell you that she will be grabbed, she will be harassed, and she will be touched. And as much as we can say it's not okay, it is. Everyone just agreed. And I know there's more than that. And I know that there's reasons. It's jobs, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I get it intellectually. I get it. But at the end of the day, what we have said is, it's okay, Spencer. Someone is going to grab you. A man is going to grab your vagina. And you're going to have a moment where you say, but if I say something, I'll lose my job. And that is the fucking truth. And it's the truth for all of us. And the shock that happens, whether it's Gomeshi or Trump or whatever the fuck, pick one. The shock and the outrage is daily. It's daily for us. It's so daily that it's ingrained in us. It's so daily that we just deal with it and pick our battles. And we don't fight every day because we don't want to talk about it every day. And it makes me sad because we've lived it and we will continue to live it. And it's okay. And I look at Spencer and I say, sorry, we tried. Wow, nice speech, Amanda. Now pay close attention while they rip it apart and prove what a hypocrite you are in the process. Let's start with your closing comments and work our way back, shall we? Sorry, we tried. Let's assess what it is you and others like you tried to do. You attempted to put a lowlife in the White House simply because she is a woman and a Democrat. I don't want anyone to misunderstand me. Trump's not exactly a saint. And I certainly didn't envy my counterparts stateside when it came to their 2016 election. However, Trump was barely the lesser of two evils, because regardless of whatever flaws he may have, as a white male, he can be called out for those flaws, while challenging Hillary Clinton's administration in any way will be branded as misogynistic. I don't know about anyone else, but I don't think any leader should be beyond criticism, least of all the one leading the most powerful country in the world. That's how dictatorships are formed. Just for the record, here's a list of reasons I wouldn't have voted for Hillary if I was an American during the 2016 elections. 1. In 2008, in a 2008 interview, Hillary Clinton claimed she landed in Bosnia under heavy fire. This was a lie, and a stupid one at that, since there were cameras crews on the tarmac when she arrived. Besides, NBC fired Brian Williams for doing something very similar in 2015. Are you going to hold a potential presidential candidate to a lower standard than a news anchor? 2. Hillary Clinton lied about events regarding a terrorist attack in Benghazi. 3. Hillary Clinton lied about using her personal email to send sensitive government documents. 4. Hillary Clinton opposed same-sex marriage on multiple occasions between 1996 and 2013. 5. Clinton proclaimed in an ad campaign that women who make accusations of sexual assault have the right to be believed. This is so wrong on so many levels, it's beneath contempt. First of all, this statement shows a clear disregard for men's due process rights, since everyone is supposed to be considered innocent until proven guilty. Next is the fact that Mrs. Clinton remains married to former President Bill Clinton, who paid $850,000 to get out of a Paula Jones sexual harassment allegation, which Amanda Barker has claimed to be as good as an admission of guilt when others have done so. This fact doesn't seem to faze Ms. Barker when it comes to the Clintons. Last but certainly not least, the fact that Hillary Clinton called the various women accusing her husband of different degrees of sexual assault a Bimbo eruption. Somehow I find it hard to believe that Hillary is going to care about what happens to Spencer Glassman or any other woman unless there is something she can get out of it. There are other examples, but I'm sure you get the point. It's so daily that it's ingrained in us. Sexual harassment or any type of abuse is horrible, and I feel bad for anyone that's had to endure it. The purpose of this monologue isn't to deny that it happens, nor condone it. However, let me explain to you just what's ingrained in us men. It's a little thing called chivalry, and it's as sexist and chauvinistic as anything women experience, if not more so. It's the brainwashing of little boys into believing that they should hold the comfort and safety of girls and women above their own. They are raised to believe hitting females is wrong, while girls are not told the same rule regarding boys. Historically, they have been the ones sacrificed, whether it's as simple as giving up our seat on the bus or being conscripted or drafted into military service, or when the cruise ship hits an iceberg and we are simply expected to stand on the deck and drown while they get first dibs on the lifeboats. Please tell me how the life of a single mother, a single woman with no dependents, is greater than that of a married man with children. And don't waste your breath on the women weren't allowed to enlist argument, because B. Arthur drove a truck during World War II and Queen Elizabeth drove an ambulance. Besides, I've never heard about any feminist protesting to make it law for women to register for selective service. Whether it was Ghomeshi or Trump, whatever the fuck, pick one. Just one? Because I can name several. 1. Amy Schumer, who received a standing ovation at the Women's Gloria Awards and Gala event when she gave a speech describing how she raped a male friend named Matt while attending Towson University in a fashion not dissimilar from what Brock Turner was accused and convicted of. Asia Argento, who was busted for having sex with an underage Jimmy Bennett, whom she'd known since they made a film together when he was 8. Bennett began sending her nude photos of himself since he was 12, which she never reported to his parents or police, nor did she cut off contact with him. Argento's boyfriend, Anthony Bourdain, paid $200,000 of a $380,000 settlement. Then she accused Bennett of raping her. Most of this happened before and while she was on her soapbox over her allegations against Harvey Weinstein. Lena Dunham accused a guy of rape in her book. Then, after it sold millions of copies, she came out and admitted she just regretted having sex with him. She also admitted in the book to molesting her own sister. 4. While promoting 2017's Wonder Woman at 92Y in New York, Gadot bragged about how she and Patty Jenkins catcalled Chris Pine during his nearly nude scene in the movie. The women who took part in pranking Hugh Jackman while he filmed Wolverine's flashback scene in X2 X-Men United, and Lauren Schuler Donner, who laughed about it in the DVD's special commentary, details of which you can learn in my video X2, The Harassment of Hugh Jackman. 6. Nikki Carroll, Charlize Theron, Rusty Schwimmer, and any other women in the cast of North Country who chose to take out their tensions on the male members of the cast and crew because they weren't mature enough to deal with the theatrical harassment their characters experienced. This is discussed in my video, Sexual Harassment on the North Country set. That's just 6 examples, Amanda, but believe me when I tell you, there are many more. Not that you care. After all, my examples feature male victims. I will tell you that she will be grabbed, she will be harassed, and she will be touched. Really, Amanda? Seriously? You actually had the nerve to go there after the crap that's come out of your mouth? For those not in the know, because you aren't humble and fried listeners, I will explain Ms. Barker's hypocrisy. You see, back in 2014, Amanda Barker slipped up and showed her true colors. During the July 30th episode of the show, Fred Patterson read a news story about a cab driver being sexually assaulted by a woman in his cab. Ms. Barker found this to be absolutely hysterical and laughed as though it was the funniest thing she'd ever heard in her life. Amanda has never apologized for this, and it was the catalyst for her downward spiral into spewing misandrous comments on a semi-regular basis. She has the misguided idea that men are privileged because she is willfully ignorant of men's issues. She knows there is a men's rights movement because she referenced my passion for it during the July 29th, 2014 episode of the show. Yet when I appeared in person on the April 1st, 2019 episode of the show, she couldn't tell the difference between an MRA and an incel. Clearly, Amanda doesn't care enough about the men in her life to investigate why men feel they need a movement, as she's too busy feeling sorry for herself and reveling and reveling in her own so-called oppression. She doesn't love her father, brother, husband, or nephew, because if she did, she would take an interest in men's issues and do some research. Then again, that's probably a lot to expect from someone who would call men privileged, mock the outrage over the Gillette ad that called all men abusive, and took a role in a show like The Handmaid's Tale, a weekly program with the sole purpose of demonizing men on primetime television. Amanda, I hate you, and I always will. I will never forgive or forget what you've said on the show. You are a vile, disgusting, man-hating bigot. You clearly revel in women mistreating men and have been a corrupting influence on Spencer Glassman. I'll say humble bus accident and leave it at that. Howard and Fred can try and make excuses for your ugly attitude, but like the proverbial forest for the trees, they can't see the real you because they are too close to the situation. Howard has referred to you as a sweet angel, but he's wrong, because angels don't laugh at the suffering of others, except for Lucifer, and there's nothing sweet about him. Thank you for watching.